When defenders froze. Cristiano Ronaldo's most shocking skills ever. What does it look like when a world-class defender realizes, too late, that there is nothing they can do? It's a split second of hesitation. A half step in the wrong direction. A moment where legs stop moving and the mind scrambles for answers that never come. For Cristiano Ronaldo, those moments became routine. Across 2 decades, he produced skills so sudden, so decisive, that elite defenders, players trained to anticipate danger, simply froze. Not because they lacked ability, but because Ronaldo overwhelmed them with speed, technique, power, and confidence all at once. This is the story of Cristiano Ronaldo's most shocking skills, the moments when defenders stopped, crowds erupted, and football learned new limits. The anatomy of a frozen defender. Defenders don't freeze because of one trick. They freeze because of uncertainty. Cristiano Ronaldo mastered uncertainty better than almost anyone in football history. His skills forced defenders to ask impossible questions in real time. Is he going inside or outside? Is he accelerating or stopping? Is he shooting or dribbling? Is help coming fast enough? That hesitation, sometimes no more than a fraction of a second, was all Ronaldo needed. The early years. Fearless skill with no brakes. When Ronaldo first emerged at Sporting Lisbon, his skills felt uncontrolled, almost chaotic. But within that chaos was danger. He used rapid stepovers, sudden changes of direction, aggressive body feints. Defenders weren't used to that level of confidence from a teenager. They backed off, unsure whether to commit. That uncertainty became Ronaldo's first weapon. Even at that early stage, defenders froze not because he was perfect, but because he was fearless. Manchester United. When the Premier League stopped breathing. The Premier League prides itself on speed and physicality. Ronaldo arrived and added something defenders weren't prepared for: relentless skill at full pace. He didn't just beat defenders, he embarrassed them in ways that disrupted defensive systems. Stepovers that locked defenders in place. Ronaldo's stepovers weren't decorative, they were traps. He performed multiple stepovers in quick succession, forcing defenders to shift weight repeatedly, delay tackles, lose balance. Many defenders froze because they didn't know when the real move was coming. By the time they realized, Ronaldo was already gone. The sudden stop, breaking momentum and minds. One of Ronaldo's most shocking skills was deceptively simple: the sudden stop. While sprinting at full speed, he would abruptly slow down, let the defender overcommit, then explode again. This skill shattered defensive timing. Defenders rely on rhythm. Ronaldo destroyed it. When rhythm breaks, defenders freeze. Speed is a skill, not a trait. Speed alone doesn't freeze defenders. Controlled speed does. Ronaldo didn't just run fast, he chose when to accelerate. That choice made defenders panic. Step in too early, and he flew past. Back off too much, and he shot. This manipulation of pace turned speed into a psychological weapon. Real Madrid. Skill under the heaviest pressure. At Real Madrid, Ronaldo faced defenders who studied him relentlessly. Tactical systems were built to stop him. It didn't matter. Instead of reducing his skill, Ronaldo refined it. He stopped doing unnecessary tricks and focused on lethal efficiency. One feint, one touch, one burst. Defenders froze not because they were confused, but because they knew exactly what was coming and still couldn't stop it. That inevitability is terrifying. The shoulder drop, a skill that ended careers. Ronaldo's shoulder drop became one of his most devastating moves. A slight lean of the upper body convinced defenders he was going one way. Their hips turned, their feet adjusted. Then Ronaldo went the other way. The move was so subtle that defenders often didn't realize they'd been beaten until Ronaldo was already shooting. Freezing doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like acceptance. When 2 defenders were not enough. As Ronaldo's reputation grew, defenders stopped facing him alone. Teams doubled up, sometimes tripled up. It didn't always help. Ronaldo used skills to split defenders. Nutmegs through narrow gaps. Touches around one defender while using strength against another. Quick changes of direction that collapsed defensive shape. When multiple defenders hesitate at once, systems fail. El Clasico moments. Skill in the most hostile arenas. In El Clasico, pressure is extreme. Mistakes live forever. Ronaldo used skills anyway. Against Barcelona, he repeatedly isolated defenders, slowed the game down, and attacked them one-on-one. Defenders froze not just because of skill, but because of the moment. One wrong move meant humiliation on the biggest stage in football. Ronaldo thrived in that fear. The chop inside. Simple, brutal, unstoppable. One of Ronaldo's most effective skills was the inside chop. At full speed, he would cut the ball sharply across his body, leaving defenders sliding past him. The move worked because it was sudden, performed at pace, backed by strength. Defenders froze because stopping it required perfect timing, and perfection is rare under pressure. Skills in the Champions League. When freezing meant elimination. Champions League knockouts magnify fear. Ronaldo's skills often arrived at these moments. Late in matches. When defenders were tired. When seasons were on the line. Fatigue slows reactions. Pressure clouds judgment. Ronaldo exploited both. Defenders froze because the cost of guessing wrong was catastrophic. Headers that left defenders watching. Skill isn't only about feet. Ronaldo's aerial ability froze defenders in a different way. They jumped, but he rose higher. They timed runs, but he timed them better. Often, defenders didn't even jump. They knew. Watching an opponent dominate the air changes behavior. That fear lingered. Juventus an experience. Skill without waste. Later in his career, Ronaldo became even more efficient. He didn't dribble often, but when he did, it mattered. Defenders froze because they no longer knew when he would attack. The unpredictability returned, this time backed by experience. One movement was enough. The mental freeze. Reputation is a skill. By the later stages of his career, Ronaldo's reputation itself became a weapon. Defenders remembered past goals, past embarrassments, past mistakes. That memory caused hesitation before the ball even arrived. Football is played in the mind as much as on the pitch. Ronaldo dominated both. Why elite defenders froze, not just average ones. Ronaldo didn't just freeze young or inexperienced players. He froze international defenders, Champions League winners, World Cup veterans. Why? Because his skills were backed by physical dominance, tactical awareness, unshakable confidence. Even correct decisions sometimes failed. That helplessness is rare at the elite level. Skills is control, not chaos. Ronaldo's skills weren't chaotic. They were controlled aggression. He used skills to dictate tempo, isolate defenders, force mistakes. Defenders froze because they were reacting, not acting. Ronaldo always acted first. The evolution of defensive coaching. Modern defensive coaching emphasizes staying compact, avoiding isolation, forcing attackers wide. Much of this philosophy developed to limit players like Ronaldo. When one player forces systemic change, his skills have already 1. Copycats and the reality gap. Many players tried to replicate Ronaldo's skills. Few succeeded, because what froze defenders wasn't just technique, it was power behind the move, confidence to repeat it, willingness to fail publicly. Without those elements, skills lose their shock. Cultural impact. Freezing moments that went viral. Ronaldo's skills became viral moments. Gifs, compilations, training inspiration. Fans didn't just celebrate goals, they replayed the freeze. That moment of stillness before chaos became iconic. Why these skills still matter. Football is faster and more tactical than ever. Yet defenders still freeze. Because the principles Ronaldo mastered, timing, confidence, deception, are timeless. His skills remain relevant because they address human limits, not tactical ones. Legacy. The art of making the best look helpless. Cristiano Ronaldo's most shocking skills weren't about flair alone. They were about authority. He made defenders hesitate. He made systems bend. He made certainty disappear. Freezing a defender isn't just about beating them, it's about owning the moment. Final whistle. When movement stopped and history moved. When defenders froze against Cristiano Ronaldo, it wasn't weakness, it was recognition. Recognition that something unstoppable was coming. In those frozen moments, football revealed its truth. Even at the highest level, belief, timing, and courage can overpower preparation. Ronaldo didn't just move past defenders. He stopped them in their tracks, and walked into history. Soccer ball fire.